Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris, the Candyman. Follow me on Twitter at FFB Garage. Tonight we're drafting Best Ball Mania 4 on Underdog. It's time to get in there. We've got a room with 3 more people to fill, and we're going to kick it off real soon. Whew, a lot of news on this Monday. Man, we're going back to our roots tonight. It's going to be most likely a 0 RB or an anchor RB build. We'll see what draft position we get, and we're filled. Let's jump into it. So, we've got the first overall draft spot coming up for you. We're going to be taking Justin Jefferson here, and we can talk about all the different teams and strategies I've employed so far. With the 101, usually if Jalen Hurts is there at the 301, that's a pretty solid pick, especially if you can get Devonta Smith to fall. Sometimes he will to the end of the second round. Whew. I am sweating tonight. It is hot out here in the garage. It's still baking hot here in Houston, but the summer is coming to a close. Training camps are underway. I'll be attending the Texans training camp this Friday morning. We'll see what I can get into, and the draft is kicking off. Justin Jefferson, the first overall pick on the squad. Let's flip it over to the board view. Up next, we've got, I can't read that name, Slangin' Whips. That's actually a pretty good name. Looking around to see who else is in here, if there's anyone we know, anyone drafting with me tonight. No, not any names that I really recognize, so we'll see how this room goes. I'm feeling like it can be definitely be a 0 RB team, and the current climate that we've got, it's wild out there. Running backs are holding out, holding in, injured left and right, breaking arms, shoulder injuries. There's a lot going on in training camp. And look how the room starts. 4 wide receivers off the board. Not too surprising. We'll see how long CMC stays available for. He falls with the 5th pick. Pretty standard start. Yesterday, I streamed a Best Ball Mania 4. And at the end of the draft, after I was reviewing my team, Travis Kelce falls number 6 after CMC. After my stream last night, I was talking about the Pup Cup, which is the PGA Tour FedEx Cup Best Ball Tournament on Underdog. I think I'm going to be entering a few teams into that. I'm still putting together my research, but I found some pretty good YouTube resources. Been looking at some things online and running some numbers kind of in the background, downloading the Underdog ADP, and then I've been looking at it today and picking out some of my favorite golfers. And I think that could be like a really interesting tournament to get into because it's a 3-week golf tournament, best ball style, and it's kind of unique in that way. So pretty excited about that, actually. Hopefully going to fire off a few teams. We'll see if I can go live for some of them. Tonight, we've got a Best Ball Mania 4 draft going. Kicked it off with the 101 spot, Justin Jefferson. The crazy thing is Cooper Kupp went number 2. You don't always see that. Jamar Chase falls to the 3 spot. Is that Burrow concerns? Is that related to Joe Burrow's calf injury? Probably not. Probably just someone who wanted to take Cooper Kupp. And so Jamar Chase falls to the 3 spot. That kind of could be an interesting dynamic later on because usually when Jamar Chase is in the 2 spot, you have to worry about, is that guy going to take Burrow or Patrick Mahomes? If I had to put money on it, I think this guy in the 6th spot, Tom JK321, is probably going to be looking to draft Mahomes with his 19th overall pick. Wouldn't blame him there. Stacking him up with Travis Kelce. Since then, Steph Diggs went in the 7th spot, A.J. Brown in the 8, Austin Eckler in the 9, Devontae Adams goes in the 10th spot. I like that pick. I'm cool with taking Devontae Adams at the end of the first round pretty much anywhere. But you've got Devontae Adams sandwiched in between Austin Eckler and Bijan Robinson on the board. 2 great picks towards the end of the first round. CeeDee Lamb goes paired up with Nick Chubb. I think that's a pretty solid kind of A lot of times you see wide receiver go at the end of the first turn, but trying to get a more balanced team over here with the CeeDee Lamb and Nick Chubb. Bijan and Garrett Wilson is an interesting pair. Devontae Adams was paired with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Looks like we've got our first team that's taken 2 wide receivers, probably the strategy that I'll be leaning towards at this point in the draft. Josh Allen goes extremely early at the 18 spot to the Steph Diggs drafter. And, I mean, I'm not totally surprised. This room is feeling pretty casual with 2 quarterbacks going in the middle of the second round. This could be a decent spot to actually go more of a robust running back approach. Punt, quarterback, and maybe punt, tight end. We'll see how it plays out in the next couple picks. Maybe go running back. I could go Tony Pollard if he's available. Yeah, let's see how this turns out. I'm going to flip back to our pick view. I was thinking Tony Pollard and Derrick Henry would be a great pick here. Otherwise, I'm going to go Jalen Hurts if he's not gone. And I'm trying to think if I would prefer Mark Andrews over Jonathan Taylor. This is a crazy situation with Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what to make of it. Looks like we're going to have to decide because Tony Pollard and Derrick Henry went right before my picks. T. Higgins, we can keep the streak alive, taking wide receivers. I think it's somewhat unique of a start, something I haven't done too often, so I am going to go T. Higgins with the first pick. Go ahead and take Jalen Hurts here, or do I want to go Jonathan Taylor? I think I go Jonathan Taylor here. And we'll just see what happens, kind of ride the uncertainty. I'm not crazy about taking a completely unstacked Jalen Hurts at this point. At the end of July, I've got tons of Jalen Hurts exposure. He's probably one of my top highest drafted quarterbacks so far. Definitely in my top 3 with my exposure. So I'm not feeling compelled there to take Jalen Hurts. And he only falls one more spot, so I'm not giving away an insane value to the team that has Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown further down. So, and I've gotten Jalen Hurts in the 3rd round way much later on. Jonathan Taylor, I was reviewing some of my older teams from earlier in the summer, and actually Jonathan Taylor was on a lot of them in kind of the early to mid-second round spot. So now I want to mix him in the beginning of the 3rd or as late as I can get him. Obviously, he's not going to be there in the 4th round. He wouldn't come all the way back here. So I feel fine taking him with my first running back in the 3rd round. I'm anchoring down to Jonathan Taylor in this case, which feels right now it's not the most exciting thing because of his news, but I'm not worried about his injury concern. I think the bigger concern is what's going on with the Colts. You know, is he going to play? Is he going to stay or get traded? So there's a lot to see there. Potentially, though, you know, he signed somewhere more attractive than the Colts. So there can be a lot of upside as well with all that uncertainty. And since we're drafting today on July 31st, why not kind of lean into that uncertainty? Maybe it pays off big. Wouldn't it be cool if he landed in like a smash spot? Maybe he lands in Minnesota, or I don't know. I'm trying to think where else. I throw out Minnesota just because they let Dalvin Cook go. You know, they haven't been the top team for a free agent veteran running back to land lately, but they kind of were early on in the process. So here's what's happened in the 3rd round. I took Jonathan Taylor at 301, followed by Jalen Hurts, DK Metcalf. Mark Andrews goes to a team that has Tyreek Hill. I think it's a very nice pick in the 3rd round for sure. Josh Jacobs goes. Deebo Samuel. So the team that has Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, their first wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, that's a common issue with that Travis Kelce, Pat Mahomes start. Josh Allen, Steph Diggs team goes Ramondre. Knows what they're doing with their Week 17 correlation. So pretty cool start there. Steph Diggs and Josh Allen, Ramondre Davis. Round 3 so gross. LOL. Yeah, I know. It's interesting how round 3's kind of been that way all summer long. What's up, my man? How you doing? What's cracking tonight? I'm just sitting here sweating literally, but not figuratively, because I've got the 101 spot, so I'm not really sweating this draft, but it's still hot as hell out here. I've got 2 fans going, cooling off a little bit, chugging some water, H2O. Yeah, and drafting this team, this room seems kind of soft. There's some savvy guys in this room I've noticed just based on what I thought was going to be a complete reach and maybe mess of a team with Steph Diggs and Josh Allen at the 1-2. I still am not crazy about Josh Allen in the second round, but when you follow it up with Ramondre Stevenson, I can't hate on it. It's not like you're going to get Ramondre in the second round and then let Josh Allen fall. So, I mean, either way. But interestingly enough, Lamar Jackson does go to the team with Jalen Waddle. We've got a really strong wide receiver start on the teams in the 10 and the 11 spot with kind of an anchor running back. A similar start that what I'm potentially going for. I like Jerry Jeudy in the 4th round. Drake London in the 4th round. Love it. Najee in the 4th round. Travis Etienne. I feel like I'm never in a spot to get some of these guys where I need a running back right there in the middle of the 4th round. Joe Mixon goes. Joe Mixon's been going earlier and earlier. I saw Joe Mixon go 39 the other day. Maybe even 40. And Justin Fields goes early. Quarterbacks are going early. I'm going to probably punt my quarterback situation down the line a bit. We'll see how this pick goes with the Jamar Chase team right now. And I'm going to flip over to my picks. Obviously, we got Joe B in the lineup. I can take him with my second pick. Did we just clear that team? We just cleared the Jamar Chase team. Yeah, I'm in. Round 5, Joe Burrow. Totally in on this. So, let's see. Who do I want to match him up with, though, with the pick before? And Christian Kirk. TJ Hawkinson's honestly the pick I want. And what kind of situation am I going to be in? Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, T. Higgins, Jonathan Taylor. Yep, that's what we're doing. And just to make myself feel better about it, I'm taking Hawkinson first and then Joe Burrow. Nice. So, my plan came together nicely. I didn't want to jinx it and get ahead of myself. There was this team that has Jamar Chase with Tony Pollard start. Typically, when I see a team do that, they could be in a good spot to take Joe Burrow at the end of the 4th round, which I don't typically do. So it's really hard for me to get Joe Burrow with one of the top 3 picks because I need either the T. Higgins team, which in this case is me, but usually I'm the Jamar Chase team, and I'm trying to push Joe Burrow to this 5th round, and then I get sniped somewhere in here by a T. Higgins drafter. Feels really good having both Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson already. And when you think about it, because Cincinnati's playing Minnesota in week 15, it's a pretty sweet correlation built in for the playoffs with some of my top picks. My top 4 out of my top 5 picks are invested into that game. Feels good, man. And then Jonathan Taylor, like I said, we're riding the wave. We're riding uncertainty today. And we are going to see if that pays off. If Jonathan Taylor can land with the Vikings, or I don't know where, the Ravens. Where's Jonathan Taylor going to land? Chargers. That'd be wild if Jonathan Taylor goes to the Chargers. Like, what would happen to Austin Eckler? Would their ADPs converge? Who would you prefer if it was Austin Eckler and Jonathan Taylor on the same Chargers team? So anyways, the rest of the 5th round started with Brandon Ayuk. Great pick. DJ Moore goes unstacked. Then Ken Walker. Injury concern or no? Aaron Jones goes to the team who's going very RB heavy with Devonta Smith. 1 wide receiver through 5 rounds. Typically not a great move. I've got 2 wide receivers through 5 rounds, but I'm making an exception for kind of this big payoff play that I'm making here. And I am going to definitely be going in more of a anchor running back build now, since I did take an elite tight end. I did take an elite quarterback. I'm cheating on my typical wide receiver heavy 0 RB build, but I think I really like this team so far. So now we got to make it count. After Aaron Jones, Alexander Madison goes. Not a player I've drafted since his ADP was 77, 80 plus. So I think I've got him 1 time in the high 60s. Didn't think he'd come back. Probably wouldn't have taken him even if he did, honestly. Christian Kirk, Marquise Brown, Deontay Johnson. Justin Herbert, who we need to keep tabs on, goes to the team with Mike Williams and just took Gabe Davis coming back in the 6th. Pretty good series of 3 picks there, and started with Devontae Adams. Oof, nice. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall. This is a team variant in the 10 spot as a team that I like here. It's definitely a contender. Very strong start. The team next to him has not deviated at all from wide receiver after anchoring down with Bijan in the 1st round. Now taking Chris Godwin and Quentin Johnson to follow Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper. Nice mini there with the Jerry Jeudy, Quentin Johnston. They've also built in Garrett Wilson and Amari Cooper. So that's another team that's I feel like they need to at some point branch out and not just keep taking wide receiver. Although to this point it looks really good. And the last team in the 12 spot, nothing extremely noteworthy. They did take JSN and Tyler Lockett. Coming up, the 6th and 7th round picks. Kyle Pitts and George Kittle go. That's good for me. Since I've already taken my tight end, I want to see more tight ends go. Jordan Addison goes. Bummer. Definitely a player I could think to take there. Michael Pittman's a guy I like a lot. Don't need Dameon Pierce since I'm going to be anchoring down with Jonathan Taylor. I'm not going to be looking to take any quarterbacks for a while, a couple rounds. Running back, like I said, nothing interesting there for me necessarily. Michael Pittman's a cool pick. I like Jahan Dotson and George Pickens. Traylon Burks is fine, but not my favorite. Pick 72, 73. And then do I want a tight end like Goddard? The answer on Goddard's going to be no. Waller is interesting, but I'll say no. I 100% want Michael Pittman. If you remember back to 2021, USC playing alongside Amon-Ra St. Brown and Drake London, actually. All in the same team, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sweet. And Michael Pittman was the alpha on that team. Just one of those things when you think elite wide receivers, a lot of people throw out, Ohio State, and I throw out Ohio State. You can throw out Alabama. You can throw out USC on a good year. There, George Pickens or taking Jahan Dotson. I wanted to mix in some Jahan Dotson. I personally like George Pickens enough that I take him on the right team. I don't have any Seattle players so far. Not really any built-in correlation there. But further than that, it's like I don't see myself taking Kenny Pickett on this team. I like Kenny Pickett on Najee Harris teams for sure. Just a strong Steeler build team. And I'd have to look really far ahead at pick 171 for Kenny Pickett. But by week 6, by week 7. Pickett's possible. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. The other thing about Pickett is I've already gotten him in the past with actually Pickens and Deontay Johnson. The movement on Deontay Johnson's ADP has been really interesting, to say the least. Let's jump back to the board view, but quickly I will recap my team. I've got through 7 rounds a 1-1-4-1 build. That's 1 quarterback at Joe Burrow stacked up with T. Higgins. Nice. And then I also took Jonathan Taylor as my running back. My other 3 wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, and Jahan Dotson. Feeling like it's a pretty strong group so far. Tight end, I've got TJ Hawkinson. Definitely one of my favorite tight ends in the league. So nice, elite quarterback, elite tight end. We're not worried about Joe Burrow's injury. It's all upside here. Going for that ceiling play. We're going for the win. Okay, the team at the end in the 10 and 11 spot. The team in the 11 spot took Deshaun Watson. Really nice for them. They had Amari Cooper and Garrett Wilson. I would expect they're worried about reaching for a running back here at 86. No, they're not. They've got a lot of options. They've got a lot of options at running back here at the 86 spot. And they're excited about it because DeAndre Swift goes. But if I had to guess on his team, he might be looking at James Conner. Pacheco versus White. Pacheco to get, he does a comeback with not Pacheco. I meant Rachaad White for the comeback with Bijan. In a sense of, I guess in their conference they play twice. I'm trying to think about that. He did have Chris Godwin. He's leaning into the Bucks. Maybe he'll finish his team off with Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask. Apparently Baker Mayfield was throwing a lot of picks in practice, but that doesn't really strike me as news. That's just normal Baker. So Kyle Trask could come in. I remember one of the interviews Anthony Richardson had at the Combine this year, at the NFL Combine. Anthony Richardson was talking with reporters, and he was talking up Kyle Trask, who's also a Florida quarterback and was kind of like a mentor, a guy that helped Anthony Richardson in his progress as a quarterback and kind of learn the game. So I thought that was cool. Spoke to, and obviously give your flowers to your teammates. But it speaks to kind of, hey, maybe there's a spark there. Maybe there's some potential in Kyle Trask. I'm not really drafting Kyle Trask, but I'm not really drafting the Bucks. I'll draft one Buck kind of per team. And I'm not afraid to take Evans or Godwin or even Rachaad White. I think I've taken Russell Gage one time late. But I'm just not big on the Bucks. Obviously, when Tom Brady leaves your team, you're not getting better. Picks 8 and 9 here. Let's see what we can do. So far, it's 1-1-4-1 build. I think I can go A.J. Dillon pretty nicely here. Obviously, I could reach and take Anthony Richardson, but I'd be really pumped if he fell to me somehow at my next pick, 120. So let's see what Sling and Whip does. He takes Bateman. That's fine. That's good for me. I'm looking at A.J. Dillon for sure. And then who else do I want? I think I actually do want Sky Moore here for one of my bringbacks. And I'm pretty pumped to take Sky Moore. I like him just fine. I think I'm drafting him too much, actually. Is there another running back I like here in the top 100? It's like, I don't know. Let's look again. Tight ends, no, we'll pass. Wide receivers, I'm looking at guys like Jamison Williams. I'm not stoked on him, though. Tyler Boyd, I have to reach up and take him. Do I want the bring back now or the bring back later? Do I want Tyler Boyd now or Tyler Boyd later? I want Tyler Boyd here. And I had to think about it for a second. But that's the right play. I don't need Sky Moore to hit. if I drafted him, obviously I'm suggesting I think he's going to be the bring back I need for that matchup to win it all in week 17. What's up in the chat? I know Davis has been chilling with us. Felix dropping in. Says Trask is not good. He should have been better when throwing to Pitts, Tony, and Pierce. Yes. Felix is speaking wisdom. That's a really good counterpoint, and I love it. I love thinking from all sides and kind of come up with player takes like that. That's a good point. That's probably why I've never been high on Trask, is because he didn't really enhance the guys around him. It was the guys around him that kind of kept him afloat. I think he's more of a game manager, apparently. Now, I wasn't watching a lot of Florida games when Kyle Trask was the quarterback, and that says something because I watched a little bit of college football. I don't know. But overall, just not high on the Bucs. I think for a bring back, it's fine, but maybe not on this team tonight. This team tonight, I'm really liking how it started out. Let's flip back to the board. In the one spot, Justin Jefferson, followed by T. Higgins and Jonathan Taylor, who's my anchor now. I'm not worried about the Jonathan Taylor news. I'm excited about all this volatility going on. I want that uncertainty, and I'm going to go for upside with who I think could be a top running back in the league. TJ Hawkinson, nice bring back for my a week 15 bring back for my Cincinnati players, but just a strong tight end. I felt compelled to take him there. I picked 48 in this build. Just take him a little bit early. And then followed by Joe Burrow, another pick I was excited about. I think I probably would have gone wide receiver otherwise, but it's like Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. I could have, I don't know. I was kind of hoping Joe Mixon might have fallen to me. He usually does, but you do see Mixon going higher and higher these days, even slipping to the beginning of the 4th round. He's one of the only running backs you can count on. Ugh, I don't like how that sounds. But it's wild out there. This is definitely could be the year of the running back, or the year of the third-year running back. The third-year running back who's not worried about his contract because he was drafted in the 1st round. There's a few guys like that. I guess one guy in particular that I know Davis is a big fan of, and I know that Felix is a big fan of too, Najee Harris. Definitely a player. Let's see. Najee went in a reasonable spot in this draft at 42 overall. Yeah, between him and Mixon, either one of them falling would have been a great pick here, and I would have gone more of a robust running back start. But after that, I wasn't too excited about Kenneth Walker today. Aaron Jones, I really honestly do like Aaron Jones a lot, but it's weird that his ADP's been so depressed. Honestly, could Aaron Jones be better without Aaron Rodgers this upcoming season compared to last season? Potentially. I think there's a case there, but I don't think too much on it. I guess I could be drafting more Jordan Love. Could Jordan Love work for the team I have right now? If I look forward, if I look on my team actually in my bye weeks, week 7 and week 6, right? So the only quarterbacks I don't want Aaron Rodgers necessarily, because I think I am going a 2-quarterback build here with the limited 18-round draft spots. Necessarily, I could take 3, some late guys, but when you take Joe Burrow, you naturally don't want to take these rookie quarterbacks, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Shout out to my Texans, but because they have the same bye, I think that's a cool opportunity, though. Maybe take one of them, not both, but one of them with Joe Burrow, and then also grab another guy late like Jordan Love or Kenny Pickett maybe, or Brock Purdy. So there could be something there, although I don't have a great start on stacking up any of those guys I just mentioned. Yeah, Love, you can get Reed and or Musgrave. I think that could be the play here. Man, I'm still sweating. Whew, it is hot out in the garage tonight. Literally. Not figuratively, though. I'm not really sweating this team. I feel like this draft's going pretty well. It feels good. Just got to land the second half now. Let's recap what's going down to start round 10. Round 9's already flown by. A lot of quarterbacks are going relatively. Anthony Richardson does go. It's a player I would have considered taking, of course, if he fell. Also, Daniel Jones goes, pick 102. Another player I really like, Daniel Jones. Need to get more exposure to Daniel Jones for sure. Zach Charbonnet goes, pick 114. They're saying not to be concerned about Zach Charbonnet's shoulder injury. I don't know any better. If you can get him falling at a value, 114 would be a good value relative to where he had been. So I don't mind that. Picks 120 and 121 coming up. Almost certainly not going tight end. Wide receiver, I do really like Jakobi Meyers. Peace. Hey, thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in, man. Catch you next time. See you in the streets drafting. Jakobi Meyers is a player that I honestly really do like. I've been drafting him way too much, and it looks like I'm going to get a chance to draft him again. If I do, I still need to worry about my Kansas City Chiefs tie-ins and bringbacks. Nice. He takes Lazard. So let's think about this. I've got Jakobi Meyers queued up. He's great for my Pittman bring back. If I can later on, I'll get some Kansas City players and I'll pair them up. And then do I want Damian Harris? This could be a team for Damian Harris. Let's let Jakobi Meyers go and then draft him so it doesn't auto draft, I guess. Double check. I don't want anyone there. Pick 120. Does Chicago do anything for me? Not really. I could take a Kansas player. I need a Steeler. I kind of want to reach for Jaylen Warren, but do I do it? No, I'm not going to do it here. I'm just going to hope that he falls to my next pick. I think Jaylen Warren would be really nice on this team just to stay balanced because I do need a number of bringbacks later that are generally going to come from wide receiver. I'm thinking guys like MVS. I'm thinking Richie James. Could be Justin Ross team. Could be a Deneric Prince team. Then I'm flipping back to running back. But if I stay balanced, I can get my bringbacks later. Maybe it's a team I take another chance on a rookie wide receiver since I've been really building out my veteran wide receivers. Let's take a look at this squad. I think it's looking really good. Justin Jefferson and T. Higgins. Then I've got Michael Pittman, Jahan Dotson. I've double stacked my Burrow now. I've got T. Higgins, and I reached up a good amount of picks for Tyler Boyd, but hey, he's on my team. That's all that matters. Jakobi Meyers is a player I really like. Took him a little bit ahead of ADP. Like I said, when you're at the turn, sometimes you got to reach a bit. But 127 over 120, come on, man. That's not much of a reach. And I did get a nice value early on with Pittman, I thought. That's about 3 picks of value. The running backs, obviously value for Taylor. And then Burrow, right where he should be. Hawkinson, a bit of a reach, but when you're on the turn, sometimes you got to do that. And I could have done a punt. I honestly probably should have and could have done a punt tight end build. But because of the playoff week correlation with Cincinnati and Minnesota, they're playing in week 15. Not only that, but you have Captain Perk Thuggins, star of the show, in my opinion, of the quarterback show on Netflix. Check it out if you haven't. It looks kind of like corny at first, but I like the quarterback show. I think I've got 1 episode left, honestly. Good so far. Let's flip back to the board, see what's going on here. We are in the middle of the 11th round, and I think this is my 51st Best Ball Mania 4 draft. So far, the team has been nice. It's been a pretty even build. It's like a 1-3-6-1 build. The last 2 picks, Jakobi Meyers and Damian Harris, felt like solid picks here at the turn. I definitely want to start drafting some Kansas City players. There goes Romeo Dubs. I've also got Jordan Love and some additional Packers players in the back of my mind. Could be my QB2, could be my bring back for my Minnesota Week 17 that I've got going on. So what's going on in round 11? Aaron Rodgers goes. There's a lot of camp coverage on Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, by all accounts, what do you expect? They're going to try to get him to succeed. I really wonder if Dalvin Cook signs there. That would be kind of interesting. Obviously, they're not offering a lot of money. He hasn't signed there yet. Darnell Mooney goes. Jamal Williams, Greg Dulcich. Romeo Doubs is a player. I would obviously consider him at pick 144, but I knew he wasn't going to be there. It wasn't likely. Versus a guy like Jaden Reed, who's going to be there potentially much later. You know, when I'm coming up on my picks around 168, 169, it's a great spot for him. And naturally, if I do recall, based on ADP, it's not a bad spot for Jordan Love to fall to. We have to worry about, is the Aaron Jones drafter going to take Jordan Love? Let's investigate. So here's the thought. The only person that would logically snipe me for Jordan Love would be the Christian Watson and the Aaron Jones team. Both of these teams have 2 quarterbacks, and in fact, one of them has 3. Yeah, that's not really surprising. That's why when I took Jacoby Myers and Damian Harris, I wasn't sweating there, but Christian Kirk had just gone, and that obviously was a play that I would make. But it's not necessary to take the quarterback, that you're stacking up on these teams. It's easier just to take the skill position players and then pivot later. Once you take that quarterback, you're stuck with it. So what did this guy gain by taking Kirk Cousins on his team? He's got Jordan Addison, so you can't blame him there. He had Christian Watson. He's got his bring back. He's building out his Tua team with Tyreek and Mark Andrews. It's a really solid team. Shout out to the 4 spot. The 4 spot team, the team in the 10 spot and 11 spot, really solid. Let's see what they're following up with, though. I don't know, going back-to-back tight end here. When you punt tight end, it's fine. You're committing to these 2 guys. It's kind of random, though. Why not just wait till the end? And then maybe it lines up with his quarterbacks, but I don't see it. Jared Goff, decent pick with Amon-Ra St. Brown at the top. I know I've been scrolling kind of quick, but I'm just flipping back through these rounds, and my pick's coming up next. So let's hop over there. Tank Bigsby goes, a player I'm very high on. Jalen Warren went, a player I would have liked to take. If he'd fallen for me, I'm going to queue up Rashee Rice, the SMU Mustang wide receiver, top wideout in all of college football last season on a per-game basis. Let's see, though. Quarterback. This is my pick 140 and 144, 145. Obviously not going to go Matt Stafford there. Running backs. Not super compelled to take Kendre Miller with this team. Do I need to figure in some Saints, though? I always forget with Cincinnati. I don't necessarily need any Saints. Same thing with my Minnesota that I might be building out. But Detroit could be a nice team to take. Minnesota, I said Green Bay, too. Green Bay that I'm building out. Minnesota, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Right, so Rashee Rice goes a pick early, but I could take Jonathan Mingo here. I think he's a solid pick. Take Roschon Johnson. Take Roschon Johnson here, and then we're going to think about the Mingo pick for an extra second. 145, not a terrible place for Irv Smith. Not the best place. But I've seen some cool stuff on what Irv Smith has looked like lately. Week 7 bye, match him up with Hawkinson. I don't have to take Mingo here. Could go MVS. I want to go Irv Smith. I'm going to keep leaning in. I know I can get Kansas City players late. I don't have to take the ones at or above ADP. I did take Roshan Johnson because I like how he fits in here, giving me some rookie upside on my running back core. I also get a little bit of correlation with the NFC North that I'm leaning into, right? I've got a lot of investment in Green Bay and Minnesota so far, and I'm looking to continue to build out my Packers players. Hopping over to the board. What did we do there? We took Irv Smith over MVS. Rashee Rice had gone. That's the guy I actually wanted there. Maybe MVS would fall, but I'm looking to build out my Jordan Love, potentially Jordan Love and Jaden Reed later on. I think I would definitely take Jaden Reed here a little bit early. But he's been moving all around. His ADP's been, it's right in line. It's actually, I hope he makes it back actually, right? Is that, what pick is that? 168, 169. No, he'll be there. It's perfect. Should be. And that's another reason I leave Mingo on the board. I don't want to be taking all the wide receivers that are a buffer between me and the next guy I want. If Mingo falls to the next round, which he's done before, then I can take him there, and it's a much better value. Also, maybe I don't need Mingo on this team. Joe Burrow by week 7. Why am I leaning into players stacking up on my same bye week? It's not that that's necessarily bad, but I know I'm taking a lot of Bengals. I've already got 2 receivers, and if I take a third receiver on that week 7 bye, and he's not even correlated with my Bengals players, then it's like, what's the point? Might be overthinking it, but
She's bad for love.